And we're live, and welcome to the CouncilCast. This is episode number 32, recorded on January 9th, 2018. The Council is now in session, and with every week, we'll make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit with little background and next to no expertise. All CouncilCast decisions are final, and they have no bearing on anything. So, welcome to this week's episode, and we are running on a small crew this week,
Very small.
mostly due to basketball. So this week we're going to start off.
ISU.
Yes. And so this week we're going to start off with some science topics. And this actually came out of CES from this year. I think this was pre-CES announcement. But this is about an airbag that is on a belt. So if you fall down enough, maybe you need this airbag. Made by a company called Helite out of France. And basically what it is, it's a little bit of it's a belt that you wear around your waist. And apparently as you fall, it will detect that you're falling and will jut out two airbags around your hips to protect yourself from hurting yourself during your falling.
This sounds exactly like something that I need all the time because I'm constantly falling for no reason. You know, Kayla will hear me say at least 3 or 4 times a week, Kayla, I've fallen and I can't get up. And
that's life alert.
Oh, that's not what we're talking about? Oh, never mind. And I have nothing to weigh in.
This won't help you get up. This will only help you not hurt yourself when you fall.
Oh, perfect. Possibly. Well, it sounds like a 1-2 combo then. Like I can fall down, be fine, but then also call for someone to help me get back up.
You know, I think what would make this better is if they incorporated Life Alert into it. So if you fell, it also called Life Alert.
Calls it immediately for you. So this is joining me next to me here. This is my dad, Brian, and he, I thought he might want to weigh in on this conversation specifically. You can weigh in on other stuff if you want to.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because he is in the healthcare industry. And so what do you think of this contraption that we're looking at here? Not that website.
I mean, it specifically says that it is for elderly people. So I'm assuming that's kind of the goal here, is to help people from breaking their hips.
Well, what does it look like before? Oh, is it bulky?
They say it's like a 2.2 pound belt.
Huh. It looks like he has already fallen. And then it...
if you watch the video...
goes in slow motion, yeah.
Yeah, because see
he hits the ground.
Hip is broken, and then the pad cushions his side while he waits for the ambulance.
At least it makes you comfortable while you wait.
I think it does. And then it makes you look kind of like bloated and kind of gassy while you wait, too, because your clothes will be covering that up. I don't think that women would go for this.
What about elderly women?
Elderly women are just as... they're the same.
They're women.
They're women. They want to look nice. So,
and this is kind of a rather large contraption.
But the hip hits before the contraption goes off, so it really didn't work the way they advertised it.
I think they might have some bugs they need to work out.
Some design flaws. Some.
I see he's already down. He's already down.
What's great for everyone who's watching at home is that they are not watching this video. They're watching us watch a video.
Oh, okay.
And for those of you who are listening on audio only, you will have to go look it up yourself.
We'll include links in the show notes if we decide that if the council votes on it. So.
Well, and apparently this belt now is like $800, $790, and each gas canister is $50. Oh, so every time you fall, it's $50. Plus, you probably broke your hip because it deployed too late.
I think so.
Yeah, it definitely deployed too late for usefulness. Oh my word!
It's like we're watching the football highlight or something. You know, slow motion replay. You can see that the hip clearly hits the ground before the bag deploys.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
I think it's a good idea. I'm just not sure.
Oh, it's a great idea.
this is
Yeah.
helping anybody.
Do you see this coming into the healthcare industry?
Oh, if that had deployed before he hit the ground,
Yeah.
you'd sell billions of them. You really would. Especially since it's not that bulky. It's not that big. People just, there have been all kinds of products that people use, and if they make you look hippier, or heavier or fatter, then they just are, the ladies just don't want it. So interesting.
I wonder how this would work if you were to wear it underneath your clothes to hide the bulkiness. Maybe you wouldn't want to.
Well, like I said, there's been other things that have been under the clothes.
The fanny pack look is really the way to go.
Yeah, well,
you want to show that thing off. I would like to see it in a couple of like neon colors. Actually, if I were gonna wear it, I'd wear it as a neon color for sure.
I guess I wonder if it has any dual purposes. Maybe they could put a pocket in it so that it has some more utility. That's what I would like to see.
Or maybe powder would.
That won't interfere with the deploying of the bags at all.
Maybe a water bottle holder. I don't know.
And all of the change you have in there then is jettisoned into your skin, and so you just have like your skin full of quarters.
Yeah, a coin pouch. Maybe it'll explode out and it'll warn people around you that you're falling.
There are a lot of options here.
There are a lot of options.
I'm going to just vote right away and say thumbs down for now, because it's not in neon colors. That's my vote.
Am I allowed to vote?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would say thumbs down because it only works after you've hurt yourself.
I'm voting thumbs down too because it doesn't have life alert built in.
Well, as soon as they fix all those things,
I think we've got a winner. Good to go. All right. Next topic on the rundown is a little bit more technology related. And I think that the biggest thing here is everybody's heard of wireless charging, and wireless charging your phone is kind of the new thing that finally came out on the iPhones and last year. And when they came out with supporting the Qi standard. And for everybody who doesn't know, there's been wireless technologies, mainly two of them that have really been competing for the space. There's the Qi wireless company. Qi is the QI. If anybody's seen it, it's apparently pronounced Qi because that makes sense. And then there's PowerMat, who kind of backs the other rival technology. And of course, they don't interoperate with each other. So you either had to pick one or the other. And it now looks like the PowerMat company has officially joined the Qi standard and is now going to support it. So I think that looking at this news, it sounds like we finally have a winner of wireless power charging technology. So does this make you want to go out and buy a wireless charger? Or is this enough to make you want to buy a wireless charger?
Sorry, Matt just said moving currently. So sorry, we're one member short because they're currently moving. But good luck.
I think the interesting thing here is I've used wireless charging. I've had wireless charging on phones for, I don't know, probably the last 6 years. And I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. I can put my phone down. I've got a bunch of them all over my house. I can put my phone down, let it charge for a little bit. I will admit it is very slow, but I don't have to plug anything in. I can just set my phone down and away it goes. Now, I think what's starting to happen is that you've got a lot more people making these metal body phones, and as you probably know, wireless charging doesn't work through a metal body. Hence, the new Nexus phones don't have wireless charging, and a couple other new guys who are all metal on the back. And I think what we're starting to also see is a lot more people offering quick charge through their USB plugs as well. So I'm starting to think that maybe wireless charging isn't as important as what it maybe used to be, because now people, there's I think on the iPhones and like the OnePlus and even on the Nexuses, they have that charging where you can plug your phone in for like 30 minutes and you've got like 80% of your battery back. So yeah, I'm not so sure. It was nice when I always had it because I could always set my phone down. If it was like, oh, I'm only at 60%, I'll just set it down on the charger. No big deal because it's already there. Yeah. Now it's not that big of a deal. If I ever need juice, to just plug it in and away I go. So
the question, I haven't used wireless charging. I've always thought that would be super slick, and then I just never get around to buying it or setting it up because I haven't bought it or anything.
What's the price difference between a wireless charger and just a cord?
So that's a good point. Usually you do get a corded charger with your phone, so technically that cost is free, where wireless chargers typically don't come in the box. So you'd have to spend anywhere from about $15 to $20, I would say, for a wireless charger, depending on what it is and who it's from.
Sure.
But if you are buying like a secondary USB charger, you're probably going to spend about the same. It's maybe a little bit more for the wireless charger, but you're talking in the $5 to $10 more versus versus wireless.
And so that was my one question. That was one of my questions. How much is it going to cost, and how much does it cost in general? But then also, what is the speed difference for charging? Like, does it
wireless charging is significantly slower? It's even slower than your standard non-quick charge USB chargers.
Is it slower than plugging it into a USB outlet in the car? Because sometimes those you're like trying to charge in there and it just won't do it.
Really?
No, it's probably faster than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then a follow-up to all my follow-up questions.
Yes.
Not really a question at this point. It's just a statement about how I think that wireless technology, like wireless charging, if it could be sped up so that it was faster, and if it could be like, I feel like Tesla, when he was doing electricity stuff back in the day, this is really intelligent. What I'm about ready to say.
Tell us more about this.
He he leans in. Back in the day when he was doing that, I think he had envisioned a world where there were no wires and everything was wirelessly charged. I don't know if you've heard that before or not. I watched a Discovery article one time, a Discovery show one time, like 7 years ago. So
you're definitely an expert. Definitely.
Got it. But I feel like if it was years down the road, I could see it being that houses are built with wireless charging infrastructure so that your gadgets and everything are continuously being charged. Anything that you bring into the house doesn't have to be plugged into the wall. You just have to bring it into the house and then it's being charged.
Gotcha.
So I feel like at some point this is going to be incredibly relevant. And I think it's great that these companies are merging, because I think it could push into the direction of how can we make this bigger scale so that it isn't just for charging phones.
I'd have to say, I think that wireless charger would be good in certain applications. Like for me at work, at my desk, just to be able to take the phone and set it there and not have to take a wire and connect to it. Just have that charger sitting there waiting, and I can that's where I put my phone when I don't have it in my pocket.
Well, that's what you do around your house.
That's what I do too. Yep.
At night, I have USB chargers in several spots in the house, so it would be the similar. They just charge faster. But yeah, being able to set it on my desk and not have to do anything else with it, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think you're right. Combining the groups, now if there is one set standard that everybody's going to kind of agree to, I think that they can now kind of push the technology forward more than maybe, trying to compete with each other. And, wireless charging has always been billed to us, like you said, it's kind of like be everywhere, do it everywhere type of thing, where you could literally have a desk where your entire desk is a charging surface, and you could set your phone down anywhere on the desk and it would charge. And I think moving beyond that, they've talked about wirelessly powering like your computer or your monitor, and you just set your laptop down on your desk and your laptop just starts charging. Or your desktop or your monitor or your mouse or whatever it is. Even I think it's Logitech came out with that wireless charging mouse where it's wireless and you set it on its pad. It comes with its own pad.
Oh yeah.
And you just leave it there and you can still use it and everything. And as long as the mouse is on the pad, it's going to keep remaining charged.
Do you guys have that for the i?
Well, our iPad, our mouse sits on a pad and charges, but you can't use it on there.
Yeah,
it's too small for that. But you're talking about like a mouse pad,
like an actual mouse pad.
Mouse. Oh, wow.
Yep. And I think that if they can come up with something like that, or even like you said, if you walk into your house and you just put something down on the floor and it's powered all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I think that there's some benefits, but unfortunately, it hasn't come to fruition yet. So
yeah,
I would like to see more, and I think that if these guys can merge and come up with something, I think this the Power Mat guys had something that could fast charge. So, maybe there's something that they know that she doesn't know of. They can kind of work together to come up with some quicker or higher power charging, maybe.
What we need, CouncilCast should get a sponsor like Dorito Locos or something to help us clone Tesla himself. And he will come back and we'll solve this charging problem.
Well, and I think, to cloning Tesla, and speaking of Tesla, if you're looking at Tesla cars, and how do you have to charge your car today? You do the same thing. If you've got an all-electric car, you got to plug it in. What if you had a mat that you set in your garage floor and you just drove in, wirelessly charged your car from the ground?
Or if you just drove into your garage and the garage charged it.
What if the front of your car was an outlet plug and you just ran into the wall?
Docked it. There you go.
Nailed it. That is
instead of the tennis ball hanging there, you have your docking station. Boom.
I like it.
I don't see why they haven't incorporated that yet.
Yeah.
Seems so simple.
Dual purpose. It can also be a laser grill to get people off the road in front of you.
There you
go. Tesla and laser grills. That's the name of this episode. Well, you know what? I'm going to vote thumbs up too.
Yeah, I'm going to vote thumbs up as well. I like it. Let's do more technology stuff.
There you go. More is gooder.
More power. All right. Next up on the rundown list on the side of the screen here is that, yes, Amazon could potentially buy Target in 2018. So, if you remember a couple of podcast episodes ago, we had talked about Target being in the perfect space for selling things and having the perfect layout and doing delivery. But what if Target was bought by Amazon?
Oh, wow. Then I think that Target should also buy Walmart, and then they should buy China.
Oh yeah, clearly that would be enough money.
They would, and then all of our problems would be solved.
So now, how many companies are there? There's Disney and Amazon, and that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, then they would buy Disney.
Amazon, proud to be one of America's two companies.
Then they would own Coca-Cola and Marvel and Target.
I mean, they could finally make that Coca-Cola Marvel crossover movie we've always been looking for.
Amazon would do that. Amazon
would do it,
and it would be, but you'd only be able to get it on Amazon Prime. You'd have to watch it Amazon Prime movies, and that's the only way you just have to stream the movie.
That's it. So just to be clear, this is not actually a done deal. This is just some analyst going off the wall. It's actually by Gene Munster, who is pretty famous for coming up with some of these outrageous claims. He's always talked about, he's actually the guy who's really talked about, I believe, the Apple TV always coming out next year. And he's been saying that for about 10 years, it seems like. So I'm not really sure. Not sure how realistic his predictions even are, but I think it's just kind of an interesting idea that if Amazon was to buy somebody and if they really wanted to get into this brick and mortar business, would Target be a good fit? It seems like they might go hand in hand pretty well together.
It seems like do they really want to get into brick and mortar? Because that seems to be the opposite direction of where consumers are going.
Well, what they would do is, and we've talked about this with Amazon before, that Amazon is in the game of losing money on general consumers because they thrive in business to business sales of their technology. So if they had a brick and mortar,
but didn't they buy Whole Foods?
Yes.
What do they do?
Amazon bought Whole Foods.
It's their brick and mortar food sales. They still sell food through Amazon, but they still have Whole Foods.
Yes.
So I could see them wanting to take on Target. I forgot about that.
And so, and the reason that they do that is so that they have brick and mortars to try out new technologies and new business operation systems and new opportunities to sell and market things. And Target already has a big enough name. Yeah, sure. I mean,
the thing I think Target's almost too big for Amazon to buy. I mean, when they bought the Wall Street Journal and when they bought Whole Foods, I mean, I don't think either of those companies were really at the prime of their game like Target is today.
Right, but I mean, look at this graph. Graphs don't ever lie about anything. And you can see that
the
this
internet
white line is
higher than
the pink line,
and way even higher than the blue line,
and way higher than the blue line. And the Target apparently is the blue line, and therefore, Target is bought by Amazon.
Must
by
be
December.
By December.
By December.
Done deal.
I mean, I think if they were to buy them, I think that this would be a huge thing, and I think people would just love Amazon and Target even more. And to be honest, it would probably make them so much money they wouldn't even know what to do with themselves. Jeff Bezos could fly 1 million rockets to Mars. He could give everybody in America a rocket.
Be like that movie, Mr. Deeds. You ever watch that?
Yes.
And at the very end of the movie, he's like, "Oh well, I know I'm not the real Mr. Deeds, but." He's like, well, can I give you anything? Yeah. The real Mr. Deeds gives Adam Sandler anything he wants. He picks that he wants a Camaro for everyone in his small town. And there's just like hundreds of red Camaros parked everywhere.
How would you know which one's yours?
They just, at that point, would it matter? You just have keys in all of them.
Just leave the Camaro.
Take a Camaro.
Like a bike share system.
There you go. Camaro share system.
I would say I'm probably going to vote. Actually, I'm going to vote thumbs down here, because although I think that it would work out really well, I'm not so sure I really want Amazon to own Target.
Yeah, that seems like a monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
And that game is the worst.
Especially when you're trying to play it.
Oh, my word. Yeah. And you know what's sad is we all vote thumbs down. But when it happens, and then when all we have to do is like think about the product that we want to buy, and then it's on our doorstep, we're gonna be like, man, I'm so glad they merged. But I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
We'll wait with anticipation.
There you go.
All right. Next thing, last topic for the night, as we try to keep it a little bit short here, I guess, is from the weird and cool section. So this is column apparently saying that the World Health Organization is now listing, or is proposing to list, hazardous gaming and gaming disorder as potential problems due to substance abuse or addictive behavior. So I think if I'm reading this correctly, they are wanting to say that gaming addiction is a disorder.
Oh yeah, I completely I didn't read the article because I always have a bad habit of not completely reading the articles. But when I was in grad school, we did talk about these types of things in social media and having our cell phones, like the way that every person who owns a cell phone is incessantly checking their cell phone, even not to look at it. If you have it in your pocket and you reach down to go, wait, did it vibrate? Or I'm going to turn it off, or, oh, I'm going to pull it out to look at it. And we all do it, like, oh, I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to do something, but I don't have anything to do. There's no email that just came in. There's no social media, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Messenger, anything. A game didn't alert me of anything. I just pulled it out habitually.
And I'm going to swipe around and now I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. And all of those things fall into the arena of addiction. And I think that video games definitely do. And so I don't disagree with them adding it to the list. I think the problem with just adding it to a list is that it doesn't create any more clarity for what addiction is, or how to, like, yes, I've diagnosed addiction. Great. Nice job. Now, what are we going to do about it? And the science community, especially with in the area of mental health, just loves to slap labels on things and then call it a day. So
yeah, and to be fair, they do define a gaming disorder, or at least they're proposing a definition of a gaming disorder as being one who lets video games take precedence over other life interests and daily activities, resulting in negative consequences such as significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning.
Well, that's just it. If you get into a gaming club, so you only have now gaming friends and you don't hang out
Yeah.
with your family, your close family as much because you're hanging out with your gaming friends, how is that different than, well, I'm just
Yep.
drinking with my buddies at the bar or
Yep.
True.
And I think that's a good point. And I think that gaming it lends itself very well, even more so than maybe a cell phone. Because if you are into it, I think that with the way that a lot of the games are built today, they really do try to pull you back in. You know, a lot of it's online. A lot of it has weekly rewards or rewards you for playing more often. So you know you want to get into it. You want to keep going, and you know I think you get into that whole fear of missing out type of thing. And I think that that's probably pretty real for a lot of people, especially
Yep.
when they're playing video games like this. And like you said, if you're into a group of guys or a group of people, doesn't have to be guys, but
Right.
people who are all doing the same thing, you know, that's what you kind of start doing, and you don't want to miss out playing with those guys, and you start ignoring everybody else. So
Yeah.
I think it's important because it's good to get added to a list, and I think that it allows people who do have a serious problem to really get some help for it if they need it.
Yeah. No, I hope that good things do come from this, but with any of the, I feel like there's a lot of, I feel like there is a big divide between the people who are actually doing the work of helping people and the work where people are diagnosing or coming up with a diagnosis category and saying,
Mm-hmm.
look, I did a lot of work to say that, yes, this is definitely a problem. And now somebody else fix it. And there aren't enough people out there to be able to help fix it, or enough outlets for, there's just not enough attention brought to addiction in general.
Yeah, and I think you're right. There's probably a huge lack of research that's been done to back any of this up, and you know, I think one of the concerns too is that this could cause a more heightened awareness of people who are playing video games, and maybe bring even a, you know, people who play video games already have a negative connotation as being, you know, that nerdy white fat guy who's sitting in front of his computer. And I think that it could be, you know, it could shift that to being, well, if you play video games, you have an addiction, whether you really do or not.
Right, exactly.
I think that there is some concern if they do get it added to the list, or if this gets accepted, that, you know, maybe it becomes even more negative that you are playing video games, and maybe more difficult for people to get out of that and bring a negative.
You know, with
stigma.
the cigarette industry, they were actually donating free cigarettes to clinics that dealt with addiction. And there was a lot of controversy over that. And you got to think that that's kind of diabolical on their part because of the addictive properties of tobacco. But you've got gaming companies that do the same thing. I mean, they're diabolical. The games are ridiculously diabolical in that the reward that you're waiting for as you start to play the game, it doesn't come, and that causes you, of course, to want to spend money if you want to get the reward. And you continue and continue and continue, just trying to seek that satisfaction. You got to wonder at some point in time if there's going to be some sort of class action suit against gaming companies for playing on this addiction if it continues to be an issue.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think this continues almost, you know, a similar discussion we had with the loot boxes and gambling too. You know, it's almost the same thing, that gamblers can get into the same type of addiction here too. So I don't know what's all right or what's wrong, but, you know, clearly let's make a decision. So
yeah, nice job for figuring it out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to vote thumbs up because I think that we should be doing some more research, and there needs to be a lot more work that goes into this before anybody can really make a final decision on what needs to happen. So
absolutely,
completely agree. Is that it for this week?
I think that wraps all of our topics for this week, unless you've got anything else.
I was just going to say that if we're wrapping up, I'm going to play a little bit of Rocket League.
All right. So. I'm probably not, because I suck at that game.
Are you going to go play your Star Wars game?
I am working on a Star Trek game, actually.
So we're going to go play video games.
It's diabolical in that I have no clue how to play it. So
we're just going to play video games. So that was good.
Sounds good. All right. Well, with this, the council meeting is now adjourned. And if you liked what you saw and want to check out all past episodes of the CouncilCast, you can go to councilcast.org. All of our podcasts are recorded live on YouTube, but you can also find the audio files on iTunes. If you have a topic that you would like the council's decision on, you can email us at councilcast@gmail.com or connect with us on Twitter at the CouncilCast or Facebook by searching the CouncilCast. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.